Will the House come to order? Mr. Clerk.
Aloha and good afternoon. Today's invocation will be delivered by Representative Linda Ichiyama. Will the members who wish to participate please rise?
Please be seated. Thank you very much, members. Good afternoon. I just wanted to share a story today. I was talking with my kids the other day, Emily, who's 4, and Dylan, who's 6, and I was trying to explain, what does mommy do? What is my job? And they're like, a legislator. What is that? And I said, oh, well, we make laws. We try to improve our communities. And they're like, wow, you make laws. What's a law? And that's a rule we all have to follow. And I was trying to, we wear our seatbelts and we drive in the car, trying to make it relevant for them. And then Emily looks at me and she gets very serious. She's like, Mom, I have an idea for a law. I was like, great, what's your idea? She said, be kind and be safe. And I thought, oh my God, my daughter's a better lawmaker than me. If we all could do those two things, be kind and be safe, then I think a lot of the laws that we pass would probably not be necessary. But I wanted to wish that to all of you today. Be kind and be safe. Take care. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Ichiyama. Mr. Clerk, please call the roll.
Mr. Ayu, Mr. Alcos, Ms. Amato, Ms. Bellotti, Mr. Chun, Ms. Cochran, Mr. Evslin, Mr. Ganadin, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Garrett, Mr. Gates,
Excused.
Mr. Hashem, Mr. Hashimoto, Mr. Holt, Ms. Hussey Burdick, Ms. Ichiyama, Mr. Iligan,
Excused.
Ms. Kahaloa, Ms. Capella, Mr. Kila,
Excused.
Ms. Kitagawa, Mr. Kobayashi, Mr. Kong, Ms. Lachika, Ms. Lamosal, Ms. Lowen, Ms. Martin, Ms. Martinez, Mr. Matayoshi, Ms. Matsumoto, Mr. Mizuno, Ms. Morikawa, Ms. Nakamura, Mr. Nakashima, Mr. Nishimoto, Mr. Onishi, Ms. Peruso, Mr. Pirik, Ms. Poi Poi,
Excused.
Mr. Quinlan,
Excused.
Mr. Sayama, Ms. Souza, Mr. Takayama, Ms. Takenouchi, Mr. Tam, Mr. Tarnas, Mr. Todd, Mr. Ward, Mr. Woodson, Mr. Yamashita, Mr. Speaker.
Present.
Mr. Speaker, 46 members are present, 5 are excused.
Item 2, reading of the journal. Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, may this matter be deferred?
So ordered. Item 3, Mr. Clerk, are there any messages from the governor?
Mr. Speaker, there are none.
Item 4, Mr. Clerk, are there any Senate communications?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, we are in receipt of communications transmitting the noted SCRs, both having been adopted in the Senate. We are in further receipt of communications returning the noted House bills, all having passed third reading in the Senate.
For the disagree motion, Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to disagree to the amendments made by the Senate to the noted House bills.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? If not, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, are there any introductions? Representative Garrett.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. As a proud graduate of the University of Hawaii at Manoa, it's my pleasure to introduce a few professors from the UH Department of Ethnic Studies that are here with us today. So when I call your name, if you could please stand to be recognized, and members, if you could hold your applause until the end. Mr. Tai Tengan, Mr. Noel Kent, and Mr. Ibrahim Aude. Thank you for being here. Members, if you could acknowledge that. Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I'd also like to acknowledge the faculty members of the department that could not be here with us today for the floor presentation. It's also my pleasure to introduce the following leaders of the local Nikkei community that are also here in the gallery. So if you could please rise when I call your name. And again, members, if you could hold your applause until the end. Mr. Nate Gyotoku, President and Executive Director of the Japanese Cultural Center of Hawaii. Ms. Reina Kaneko, President of the Japan America Society of Hawaii. and Ms. Mariko Mijo, Director of the Sons and Daughters of the 442nd Regimental Combat Team. Thank you for all your many contributions to the community, and welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I would like to take this opportunity to introduce and recognize some special guests in the gallery. If you could please stand and be recognized, and members, if you could hold your applause to the end. We're lucky to have with us here today Mr. Bill Kaneko, former president of Honolulu JACL, Leanne Ebesugawa, my law school classmate and past president of the Honolulu JACL, Minda Yamaga, president of the Honolulu JACL, Hanako Wakatsuki Chong, Superintendent of the National Park Service Honouliuli National Historic Site, and Guy and Susan Fujimura, longtime friends of the ILWU, the UH Department of Ethnic Studies, and the people of Hawaii generally. Please stand and be recognized. Welcome to your House of Representatives.
Representative Nakamura.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. We cannot do this job without our family that helped support us along the way, and especially during our session. I want to recognize my sister, Joan Carlson, from Redondo Beach, California, who's helping me with caregiving during session, her husband, Peter Carlson, and Eric Furland from Boston, who's visiting, and my office manager, Philip Rock. Welcome to the Hawaii House of Representatives.
Are there additional introductions? If not, we're on item 5. Mr. Clerk, are there any floor presentations?
Yes, Mr. Speaker, House Resolution Number 223, recognizing the Department of Ethnic Studies at the University of Hawaii at Manoa. This resolution is offered by Representative Bellotti and many others.
Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I move to adopt this resolution.
Representative Nishimoto.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion, members? Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. If I may have the two guests on the floor rise to be recognized, Professor Roderick Labrador and Daviana Pomaikai McGregor, if you could stand and remain standing as I give my remarks. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. It is my honor today to recognize and commend the University of Hawaii at Manoa Department of Ethnic Studies and the contributions of the late Dr. Franklin Odo. The Department of Ethnic Studies has been critical in furthering conversations relating to social justice in our state and beyond. The department was officially established in 1970, born in the milieu of the unrest of the 1960s. The civil rights movement, the Vietnam War, ethnic empowerment, and students' rights were all issues rocking the nation, and the University of Hawaii joined boisterously in the local, national, and international discussions. It is because of this discourse, encouraged by this department, that engagement in land struggles like that of Kalama Valley, Waiahole Waikane, Kaho'olawe, and Chinatown in the 1960s became more accessible for students and faculty. The Department of Ethnic Studies was designed to address matters of race and ethnicity in Hawaii, the Pacific, and across the United States, for students to think critically about society, embrace multiculturalism, and address inequalities. The importance of these teachings live on as we continue to face complex issues within our communities, especially in our ever-changing geopolitical, social, and economic landscape. Members, if we can congratulate the Department of Ethnic Studies and the professors who lead them. You may be seated. One of the great leaders in the Department of Ethnic Studies was Dr. Franklin Odo, who became the director of the department in 1978. I yield to my colleague from Makali Mo'ili'ili for further discussion.
Representative Nishimoto.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I'd like to take this opportunity to speak to Dr. Franklin Odo's character and his leadership in our community. Professor Odo was born and raised here in Hawaii. He went on to receive higher degrees from Princeton University and Harvard University, and was the first person from Kaimuki High School to attend an Ivy League school. He dedicated over 50 years to teaching at various academic institutions and even served as the director of the Smithsonian Asian Pacific American Center in Washington, D.C. His scholarly pursuits served to further Asian American studies in our state and across the country. Mr. Speaker, Franklin Odo's achievements went beyond academics. He was a mentor, a friend, and an inspiration to many. His students said that he made history come alive and challenged their way of thinking. Aside from his professional life, he was a beloved husband and father. His legacy lives on not only with his children and grandchildren, but also in the scholarship fund dedicated in his honor to carry his mission of social justice, scholarship, and mentorship at the University of Hawaii. We have some of his family members here today, and I'd like to honor them. Please join me in recognizing his son David, if you could stand to be recognized, his brother Alan, and his niece Sarah. Members, please give them a round of applause. I yield to my colleague from Makiki.
Representative Bellotti.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I promise to be really brief. The legacy of Dr. Odo goes far beyond just these shores. As we heard from Representative from McCully, he helped to found the Asian American Smithsonian Institute. And it's there, I want to share a personal story with Dr. Odo. When I was a junior at Princeton University, I found that I was not learning about Hawaii and about the history of America in the way that I needed to. And what I did was I reached back to my home, to the University of Hawaii, not knowing who Dr. Odo was, and invited him to come to teach at Princeton University. There he taught a school, and soon thereafter there were, of course, protests and advocacy to make sure that Asian American studies would be instituted at Princeton University. Dr. Odo's legacy lives on in the conversations that we continue to have today. And so as he is a keiki o ka aina, I just want to commend Dr. Odo and the Department of Ethnic Studies because they have never lost sight of how to include Native Hawaiians into the conversation, Asian Americans into the rich history that makes up America. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, in strong support of this resolution.
All right, members, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. The motion is carried. Representative Bellotti, please proceed with the certificate and lay presentation. The chair will call a recess to allow the members of the House to meet and congratulate the honorees. Recess. Will the House come to order? Okay, members, we're on page 2, item 6. Please note that the measures on page 2 will be deferred one legislative day, so we'll take those votes up on Monday. On page 3, item 7, Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Reports numbers 1796 through 1838 as listed on pages 3 to 14, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions, as may be amended, be referred to their designated committees.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All right, is there any discussion beginning with SCR 1796 and 1797? Representative Hussey Burdick.
Reservations, please.
So ordered. Representative La Chica.
Reservations.
So ordered. Okay, SCR 1798 and 1799. 1800 and 1801. 1802, Representative Garcia.
1801.
1801 and 1800, please proceed.
Yes, no vote.
So ordered. Representative Matsumoto.
Reservations.
So ordered. 1802, 1803. Next page, 1804, 1805, 1806, 1807. Next page, 1808, 1809, 1810, 1811 and 1812, 1813, 1814. Next page, 1815, 1816, 1817, 1818. Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. Next page, 1819, 1820, 1821, 1822. Next page, 1823, 1824, 1825, 1826. Next page, 1827, 1828, 1829, 1830. Next page, 1831, 1832, 1833, 1834. Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. 1835, 1836. Next page, 1837, 1838. Any discussion? If not, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Reports numbers 1839 through 1859 as listed on pages 14 through 20, and that the accompanying House resolutions and House concurrent resolutions, as may be amended, be adopted.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion beginning with SCR 1839 and 1840? Representative Garcia.
No vote.
So ordered. Next page, 1841, 1842. 1843, 1844. Next page, 1845, 1846. 1847, 1848. 1849, 1850. 1851, 1852. 1853, 1854. 1855, 1856. 1857, 1858. And 1859. Any discussion? If not, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Representative Nakamura.
Mr. Speaker, I move to adopt Standing Committee Report number 1860 as listed on page 20, and that the accompanying Senate bill as amended pass second reading and be placed on the calendar for third reading.
Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
Is there any discussion on SCR 1860? Representative Ganadan.
No vote.
So ordered. Representative La Chica.
No, Mr. Speaker.
No vote. So ordered. Representative Lamasal.
Same recommendation.
So ordered. Representative Souza.
Same request. Thank you.
So ordered. Representative Chun.
Please note my reservations. Thanks.
So ordered. Representative Garcia.
Reservations.
So ordered. Further discussion? If not, we'll take a voice vote. All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. Members, please note on pages 20, the 48-hour notice for pages 21 and 22. On page 23, please note that the measures listed on pages 23 through 27 will be deferred one legislative day. Those votes will be on Monday. We're on item 9, announcements. Any announcements? Representative Matsuyoshi.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to remind my colleagues that we are still having the blood drive on May 3rd here at the Capitol. 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. We only have 3 representatives signed up right now. I know we can do better than that. If you need the link to sign up, please let me know. I know we're all busy, but this is going to be after our busy time, and it's really, I mean, talking about being kind, this is probably one of the kindest things you could do. Thank you.
Are there further announcements? If not, for the motion to adjourn, Representative Morikawa.
Mr. Speaker, I move that this House stand adjourned until 12 o'clock noon Monday.
Representative Garcia.
Mr. Speaker, I second the motion.
All those in favor say aye. All opposed say no. The motion is carried. The House stands adjourned until 12 noon Monday.